Take your wildest dream and make it a reality. Make it not a dream anymore. Make it something that's real. Bring it to fruition. Tell yourself you're a star.
Peace. Choose to inspire, not destroy podcast, and we're back.
Austin.
Yo. Choose to inspire, not destroy.
I do gotta address something, B, because you said something to me, but I've been waiting to get at you on here. So,
all right, let's do it.
peace. Choose to inspire, not destroy podcast, episode 32, and we're back. I got my guys with me, Brandon, Kofi, I'm G. If this is your first time here, you're safe. Thank you for giving us a shot. If you've been here before, we appreciate you. Salute, and we hope you're inspired and everything is good. Before we get into anything crazy, shout out to the new subscribers. I guess the challenge was accepted. We got 6 new ones, and B is claiming those. So if you really are affiliated with him and he's responsible for that, it's still much love and respect to you. Thank you, and you're welcome. But drop a B in the comments so we know that you really his peoples and you came from him. Fellas, what's going on, man? It's good to see y'all.
Good to see you. I'm good out here, bruh.
Nice. Before we even really start chopping it up, though, I just want to take a second to send condolences and well wishes to the families that lost their children in the shooting in Michigan. It's a very serious situation. It's really hard to process and unpack the thought of getting a call that your child has been basically murdered in school when they're supposed to be safe and protected. You send them there to learn. And I want to touch a few things into that and not get too deep into it, but just, well wishes and condolences to those families, man. It's a very tragic situation.
Agreed. I don't even know how I would react.
Yeah, completely agree. And also, I think phenomenal job, unfortunately, by the teachers in terms of having the kids ready for a situation like that, right? Because, they have to be the ones that administer those hide, those drills that happen, right? Not only when we were growing up, it was usually like either earthquake or fire drills, but now it's, shelter in place and hide from an active shooter. Don't open the door unless you recognize the voice. And I think the video has gone viral where you hear a knock at the door and the classroom is full of kids and whoever is talking to them says, bro, and the kids are like, no, we don't recognize that. That's not something the teacher would say. And they escape out the window. So phenomenal job, at least to the teachers, for raising awareness and making sure that the kids were the ones that, survived, were able to put into action what they learned at the very least.
Yo, we can't just touch on it. We got to dive a little deeper because shout outs to the parents getting arrested for their contributions to the situation.
Exactly.
Because all of this, I don't know what happened. They literally knew what was going on. And for them to send a message don't do it, right? To him, after 2 hours where they could have got him out of the school or called the police or done anything, terrible parenting. Well, they are definitely responsible.
Agreed. I mean, allegedly, right? Because that's all we can say right now until it officially comes out. But allegedly, or maybe it's not allegedly anymore, weren't they in a parent-teacher conference that morning?
Yeah.
And allegedly someone from that was representing the school okayed the student to go back to class because that's how that type of thing works. When you're called in for behavior, right? If it's during the school day, everyone has to agree that it's cool for this person to go back to class, including the representative from the school. So I don't know who that was, but man, if you could pick a worse decision, I don't think you could find one consciously. That's crazy, especially from what's coming out, the history of how many meetings they've had, the drawings, the notebooks, the the social media posts from the parents that were like, "Just got him a new gun," like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it got to be some accountability for that too, man. Because if those parents are in the school, and from some of the things that I was hearing, where it was a teacher seeing the kid looking up ammunition, and it was all of these incidents, then there's no way you can tell me you're not taking your child home with you. You're here. You're in the building. We're telling you there's a problem. You're taking this child home with you, or you can't leave. Like it has to be something to where that child cannot stay in the school, because if they take him home, then this incident doesn't happen that day. You
Fair.
can't say it doesn't happen later on, but at least you prevent it one day. And at one point, is everybody that's responsible has to start being held responsible. It can't just be, oh, I didn't know, or we didn't think this would happen. You got to follow the signs, man. When are you going to start following the signs?
And they didn't do anything to prevent it, right? They didn't lock up the gun after or check for the gun, right? Like after hearing everything that was going on. The craziest part is like them trying to flee and then pretending like, oh, we didn't try to flee. We were just like gonna come
Fearing
in
for our
on
lives.
Tuesday.
Threats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're like, nah, we took out thousands of dollars from our bank account
Yeah.
and we're hiding in a hotel
Yeah.
room. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What about the alleged message between mom and the son, like, you can't get caught doing stuff like this or something like that, which I think may have been a text message from something he may have done prior or earlier. Like, I'm at a loss for words. It's
Yeah.
what else do you want at this point? Like, and to your point, Brandon, earlier, thank you for making them responsible now. Because you guys bought the gun for him. He couldn't go into Walmart or wherever and purchase a gun because he's underage. And that's on you guys. And it's not even like a slap on the wrist, like, like an unattended minor, like charge or something like that. It's like, no, you're getting like manslaughter also. Like, this is you're gonna feel this. Even if you get parole, you're gonna feel this.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. It's like, yo, when is it just not okay to say that I can't control what my kid does when they leave the home? Because some of that starts in the home. Like it's a devastating act, and who knows the thought process and what mental issues come from it, but it still is what it is. It's still murder. It's still destruction. So no matter what this kid was going through and what was going through his head, what were the parents doing? When does it fall back on the parents too, to where it's like, look, are you monitoring your kid? Are you on their social media? Are you in tune with what's going on with them in their world, and not thinking that they just live in a bubble and your kid is just the best kid in the world? It's crazy out there, man, to think that your kids are not even safe in school no more.
Right. I think another crazy element to this story is normally when this happens, you hear, right, wrong, or indifferent, the child was bullied in school and severely bullied, beat up, and scared to go to school. Haven't heard any of that. So I'm like, was this the bully that was like, yo, I'm tired of putting hands on people in school. I'm going to just take it up a notch. Right? Like, because by now we should have heard those stories like, oh, he was stuffed in the locker 14 times. And, just painting the picture of, I don't want to say for the defense, but painting the picture of what a day in the life for him or her would have been like. But, like, none of that has come out. So, like, it seems like this was an ongoing issue. And the more and more I think about it, the more and more I hear that the school has had several meetings with the family about the child, it's like, oh, so, like, he was actually the problem in the school. Everybody else was kind of just chilling. And he was the one pushing people in the lockers or pushing people down the stairs, taking lunch money.
Well, I don't know, Kofi. I'm not gonna front. Like, I did hear that some of his classmates or whoever they was talking to was saying that he was like the quiet kid in the school. Like, he didn't have a lot of friends. He kept to himself. He wore black a lot. They made it seem like he was the kid that you know, like he don't mess with nobody, but don't nobody mess with him. I didn't hear anything about him being bullied either. So
Right.
it's just it's a weird situation, man. It's a scary situation to think that our kids can be around whoever. Like anything can happen.
Right.
And then you have no control over it.
Right. I think, and I don't know, I think maybe this is a good lesson for people to look at and say, it doesn't cost you anything to just acknowledge the fact that somebody's there. Good morning. Good night. How was your day? Right? Because maybe that's all he was missing, right? If he wasn't being bullied and he was just the kid that was different and nobody really talked to him and he really didn't talk to anybody, how different would his day have been if somebody would just taken the time to be like, hey, whatever your name is, good morning. Outside of like the teacher, right? Like somebody that's up here.
Yeah.
I don't
Kids are cruel. Like I'm starting to notice that.
For real.
Kids they're vicious. It's a lot different from when I was younger and you know the jokes they were lighter. The bullying wasn't as crazy. Now it's like on a whole nother level the way they treating each other. And where is that coming from? Like what the behavior is learned somewhere. These kids are not just figuring it out on their own and all of a sudden popping up and they're these people that are doing these things. It's coming from somewhere.
Yeah. And I don't think it's necessarily always coming from home life or the parents, because it would be really disingenuous to say that 100% of the time, you know, not saying that that's what you're saying, but 100% of the time it starts with the parents, because the parents could have no clue, you know, he's passing his classes, doesn't know that he doesn't have any friends in school because, you know, their conversations with him are very, you know, surface level or like, hey, how was your day? Oh, no, it was fine, you know, and they're not getting failing grades. So they're like, okay, well, he just must be an average kid in school, may or may not have friends, but that he'll come into his own, right? How many times have we heard that?
Yeah. Even then, what do you do for a teenager who doesn't have friends? Right? Like, there's not much you can offer them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's a very good point.
It's crazy, man.
Hope that they go to college and then you have a wider pool of people that may have similar interests as you, I guess, and you make some friends there.
Yeah. How do y'all deal with bullying with the kids? Like, what's the approach?
I already told you my approach.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No transgressions shall be tolerated
Yeah.
by nobody at
Yeah.
no time.
Yeah. 100%.
So we haven't gone through it yet, but part of me wants to say that a little bit of it is something that they have to experience, right? Because my view is, if you, depending on what it is, right? Like if it's something like ridiculous and extreme, like your situation, then no, that's not happening, right? But I also don't want them to get into the habit of, oh, as I get older, if somebody says something to me, then my family's going to come to the rescue. And it's like, all right, listen, there's a difference between words that aren't really going to harm you, someone physically hurting you, and then another extreme that goes beyond that, which we can't say on YouTube. So I think it's healthy to experience that because, right, your boss when you grow up may be a bully, right? Maybe your micromanager that, you know, has a Napoleonic complex. That's a bully, right? Somebody that's micromanaging and, you know, being very degrading on a public scale to you and the team. That's a bully, right? And you can't expect your parents or family to come in and strong arm your boss, depending on, you know, your last name and what family you're a part of, right? Especially in New York City. But I would say, like, you know, 25% of me says a little bit of it is not normal, but it's something that they should experience without, you know, rushing in to wrap our hands around them. But the other 75% is like, it's not going to happen, especially to the extremes. You know, it appears that it is happening in schools nowadays.
Yeah, I think what I try to do, aside from like if somebody's going over the top, right? Uh, like we crack a lot of jokes in our house,
Mm.
right? And I want her to be quick on her feet, right? Like somebody says, you know, you ugly, you gotta be ready. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta be ready to snap back. Like don't take that to heart,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you know you beautiful. Attack they jeans, fam.
Mm-hmm.
They can't wear no
Yeah,
jeans around
yeah,
you,
Right.
right? you, you gotta be ready to just keep the jokes going,
yeah.
right? And also, don't dish it if you can't take it,
Right.
right? If you're gonna make fun of the kid up the street, then when he makes fun of you, all's fair, right?
Mhm.
Like you just gotta be
Right.
ready for it. If you ain't with it, fine, that's fine. Don't participate then. But as soon as you participate, you give the green light, and I make sure she knows that like
Mhm.
that consent is being given.
Mhm. Mhm.
What about you, G?
Yeah.
What's your method?
I agree. I think it's the same for me. Like the verbal, I could live with that. Because you can't just run around putting your hands on people because you don't like what they saying to you. You gotta have a thicker skin, and you gotta understand that it just is what it is, and it's okay. Sometimes it's just what they call it, like playful banter, and it don't really mean nothing. But if somebody put their hands on you, I'm not with the turn the other cheek, man. Like it's a zero tolerance for that. Do not let anybody put their hands on you. Do not let anybody bring any harm to you at all for any reason. Like I'll take care of the rest. Whatever comes after, whatever you do in defending yourself, I got you. Just make sure you protect yourself. You don't really got to care so much about what people say. Like people talk, they always going to have something to say. But
Right.
putting their hands on you and trying to cause you harm is a whole different issue for me. Like I'm not okay with that at all.
Yeah.
And I tell
Right.
Austin, because Austin is a black belt. He's all right with them hands. So it'd be like, it'd be like,
Do
bro.
you feel like you have to either now or at some point tell him, hey, you might have to practice a little. Like yes, in martial arts they tell you about restraint, but like, do you feel like you might have to reinforce that? Not that he's out there just Steven Seagal people like, oh, you looked at me wrong. I'll tell you what this headlock looks like.
Yeah.
Right? But hey, you are like almost treat him like a prize fighter. Like, hey, you are a weapon technically, so you might have to be a little more not tolerant. Like I don't know how to describe it, but like you might have to take a little bit more than the average person because you could probably break somebody's nose with like a backhand, and like yes, you're defending yourself. Like, all right, perfect example. They say that this is crazy example, but they say that Spider-Man pulls his punches because he doesn't want to kill any of his villains, right? Because he has superhuman strength. He could technically, punch the Kingpin and crater his face.
Really? Is that that's really
Yeah.
word?
Yeah.
Oh, I
He's
didn't know.
stronger than Captain America. Like he's one of the strongest.
Get
people
out
in
of
Marvel.
here. I didn't know
Right.
that.
But he pulls his punches because he knows that like it can go that far, and some look at it as a flaw, others look at it as like being responsible. And I was just curious, since he is a black belt, like, do you feel like you're gonna have to kind of have that conversation, like, hey, even if you're defending yourself, you probably don't want to go to jujitsu level 3. You might want to just do basic, like break the wrist and like break the hold,
Yeah.
then like
break the
wrist, break the elbow, break the shoulder.
To a kid? Nah. Yo, it's funny though. And babe, don't get mad at me when I gotta tell the story because it's a funny story. So like we already had that conversation one time, right? My wife's sister came over with her son. And they're cool. Like Austin and Orion, they get along, they're buddies or whatever. But Orion, he's real energetic. He get real playful sometimes. So they leave. The night is over. I'm thinking it's a good night. And my wife, she hits me like later on, and she's like, "Oh, look at this picture." And it's the little boy, and he got like a white pad or something, a patch on his chest. So I'm like, what is that? Why you got that on? And she was like, oh, my sister said Austin punched him while he was here. So, so I asked him, I said, yo, Austin, did you punch Orion? And he said, yeah, he kept messing with me and he kept hitting me. And I told him stop and he wouldn't stop. So I let him have it, basically. And I was like, nah, bro, like, you let him have it. Like, you let him have a little too much. He probably was just playing with you. He shouldn't need to be getting, like, medicated, one of those medicated pads on him. So we kicked it already about that because he get a little out of hand with Amari too sometimes, and I be having to catch him and be like, "Yo, Austin, man, like karate is for karate. You know, when you in the dojo, you do your thing. When you not, it's not for you to just be playing around all the time with it. You know, if he's protecting himself, then protect yourself to the level that you feel like you're safe."
I think one of the benefits of like being able to protect yourself is not needing to protect yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're capable, most people know and they don't mess with you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like more often than not, he'll be alright because no one picks on the big kid.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you pick on the little kid.
And it's crazy when like his sensei, one of his senseis at the school, this dude, he looked like, you know, not to judge a book by its cover, but he looked like the type that if, you know, you having an argument with him and he say something a little crazy, you be like, man, you better get ahead before I slap the ish out of you or something. He looked like that. But when he be in there and he actually put his uniform on, it was one time I was in there, he was teaching a class. I was like, okay, that's why he carry himself the way he do, because he know if somebody actually do try to slap the mess out of him, they gonna have a bad day.
Nothing makes you carefree like knowing it's not gonna go well for you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, knowing I'm gonna be all right.
Do you find like in situations where somebody like an adult knows martial arts and like they're being like there's a fight being instigated with them like in the bar and the person's like, listen, I really don't, and like it just makes the person that's the instigator like even more upset. Like, what are you talking? Like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna show you. And he's like, no, listen, I don't want to break your face tonight. Like, it's gonna be there's gonna be. You know, I'm gonna have to go to the doctor because your teeth are gonna scratch my knuckles as they're coming out of your mouth, and like I'm gonna have to fill out this police report. It's gonna take up too much, and it's like the more and more you try and de-escalate, the person's like, "Oh, you think it's gonna be like that?" And then it's like
I've only ever seen that kind of stuff on YouTube, right? Like never in real life have I been next
I've been in a couple of places, like a couple of bars where. It's gotten to that point where the person's like, listen, I want to have my drink, just chill. And the other person's like, what are you going to do? And he's like, listen, I really don't want to stop you from being able to use your nose to breathe for the weekend. So can we just chill? And, you know, out of the two times, one time it escalated and it was over in 15 seconds. And the other time it didn't get that far because the other people that were with the instigator was like, you've had way too much to drink. You need to fucking chill. Because even if this dude can't fight, you probably won't be able to stand up to fight. And we're not going to end our fun because we got to take you to the emergency room.
That's funny. That reminds me of my shout out to my dude Chief if he's watching. Big ups to you, right? But like, I'm the smallest dude in my crew, right? So I'm not the tough guy, right? Like I don't pretend to be nothing like that. But like on Facebook, like a year ago, some dude starts popping off at my mom's, right? Just like, yo, you need to blah blah blah. I jump in that comment immediately, like, yo, fam, just chill, like, just chill be out. Respectful.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, let's not cross that line, right? He immediately, ooh, what you going? I was like, yo, never mind, no more conversations on Facebook. Here's my address, fam. Like, yo, what we doing? Like, I'm not. Yo, you know what I'm like, yo, why are you still talking? And I'm like, that conversation's done. Immediately, all the goons start from my squad is like, yo, he said what? To who? What? Nah, like, yo, let's pop off. Where he at? Like, where can we meet him? Can we do this now? I'll be up there in an hour, right? I'm like, yo, hold on. First of all, thank you, right? Because always appreciate like
Yeah.
not having to ask for backup, but y'all like, yo. And then like I'm like, yo, I'm like, I wouldn't even put y'all in that situation because like mom said, like, you know, he's like some backwater redneck crazy dude, right? But my dude Chief is like, I'm crazy too.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not only crazy when you're not crazy. He's like, if you want to
Like, I'm usually crazy. Don't get it twisted. That's up my lane.
it's not just when y'all are. Nah.
Is it tough hanging out with the crazy friend though? I find like sometimes the crazy friend is just crazy at the wrong times. When it be like, bruh, I'm
$15 to get in here.
trying
What are
to,
you talking
yeah,
about?
I'm trying to chill tonight.
Nah, I think all of our crazy peoples know they're crazy, but know like they can handle themselves, right?
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
if we're at a show and like we're at a show, this dude's acting crazy. They're like, yo, let me buy you a drink, fam. Like, yo, enjoy your night, fam.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just chill, cause the other option is we drag you out of here. Like, these are your two options.
yeah.
So here's an extra drink.
Yeah.
Getting into an altercation in like a bar, a club, or anything though is like the worst though, bro. Cause you don't know who's with who.
Mm-hmm.
And
So-
I'm not a fan of being sucker punched by somebody that is like, oh, you're with
So-
the enemy.
Story
I'm
time.
too old to have an eye gem.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right, cool. You got a good one? Let's hear this one. I hope it.
So, I
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, back in college, in our fraternity, we have what we call formals, where it's like a year-end trip or not year-end, but like end of the semester trip, right? Where we'll take, we'll go places and we'll bring dates, right? And we'll stay like the weekend or something like that, right? So, first semester in, we go to Montreal. Cool, right? So there's like 67 brothers that charter a bus and we go to Montreal with our dates. I have all the photos. I can send you guys the photos. And we are from Syracuse to Montreal. It isn't that far, so we are on the bus drinking, whatever. We get in. We have to, first red flag is we had to tell the hotel that we were booking at, the Hyatt, that we were the math club, because they were not down to have a social fraternity staying there for a weekend, and we rented the ballroom and all of that, right? But like, so I'm hanging out with like one of my best friend that's in the fraternity with me, and like he just came back from like spending like a year in France, so he wants to go and experience Montreal and speak French the whole time. So we don't go out with the larger group, right? And there were some new guys. Or some guys that joined. Actually, this was so there were some guys that joined that semester. There were 8 of them, and they were like built, like they like lifted like cinder blocks and shit for workouts. So they are known as the Get Wild group, like legit. Like one dude his nickname was Hurricane. Like it's crazy. So they're out in Montreal. We are like chilling in the lobby, having drinks that evening, and they come in. And they're bleeding from the side of their head. One dude has a cut on his neck, and we're trying to usher them upstairs so the hotel staff doesn't see, because they're like, what type of math club, gets into a fight in Montreal,
Yeah.
right? Montreal, one of the nicest places on earth, I guess. So they tell us the story the next day at breakfast. So apparently they were out at a bar, right? And it's anyway, they had a nickname for their pledge class, and they're all out. They were drinking, and someone said they're at a bar, and someone says something to Hurricane. And this is the type of dude that he sold illegal speakers in a gas station to a judge, and it just ran most random crazy shit. So anyway, they said something to him. He didn't like what the guy said. Got into an argument with the guy. The guy kept mouthing off. He took his Heineken bottle, broke it over the guy's head. Fight breaks out. There's only 8 of them. Fight breaks out with security and everybody there, right? So apparently the bar that they were at is connected to another bar. So there's like an alleyway, and then it goes into another bar. They get thrown out into the alleyway, and they're fighting in the alleyway, and then like it ends up, ceasing, and then they go into the other bar. As soon as they get in the other bar, they're at the bar. Security starts beating them up. They find out later on that the guy the guy that Hurricane broke the bottle over was the owner of both bars.
No way.
Bro, we almost got kicked out of Montreal because like Montreal's a big place. It's like a smaller version of New York, but like if you own like several establishments, like people know you, right? Same way they would in New York. If you own 2 or 3 bars, like people are gonna know you. And yeah, so crazy. Don't get in fights in bars. You don't know who's with who owns the bar, who doesn't. Just it's not even worth fighting over. Like there's nothing that you can say to me that would make me want to punch you in the face at the bar. Nothing. Nothing
No,
at
I
all.
don't know about that.
Yeah,
I don't know if I go that far.
I can't think of one thing where I'm like, you know what? I can't wait for you to step outside. I'm gonna just set it off in here.
If you grab my girl's ass, like I might have to hook off on you, fam.
Yeah.
Reaction. Not even like, I'm gonna think about it. I might size it. Nope. Just like the right hook.
It's mandatory. It's mandatory. Because if you don't, that relationship is over. She's not gonna want to be with you anyway either. If you don't, defend her.
That's true. That's a good point. But like, for my wife, at least, like she knows that there's a method to my madness. I have no problem sucker punching somebody. I'm gonna wait outside. I'll be over as quick as possible. So if I catch you off guard and you wake up Monday, that's cool with me. 30 seconds or 10 seconds, that's it. You're coming out. You're saying goodbye to the security guard.
Yeah, I believe you too. That better be a hell of a punch, because if you sucker punch somebody and don't drop them. It's gonna be trouble.
Keep the flurry.
Yeah, don't stop. Just keep going. Keep going. First off, I'm not condoning sucker punching anyway. The views expressed by Kofi on sucker punching somebody are his and his alone.
50, 60 punches, right, and potentially have to dodge them when you can just throw one haymaker and that's it. Lights out.
Yo, did y'all watch The Harder They Fall on Netflix? The Western with all the black actors.
Yeah.
And when dude was supposed to be the fastest gun, and he was like, "Why you count so slow?"
I didn't like that. Yeah, I was so mad. I wanted to see him win that so bad. But that was a perfect example of how it goes. Be the first one to draw.
And he warned him. He was like, "Yo, I'm not." He's like, "You think it's about who the fastest? No, it's about who's alive at the end of this."
Yeah.
He's like, So.
That's the thought of the bar brawl. I'm not even gonna front. When we was younger, we went to this spot. One of my homeboys, Al, really good friend of mine. I'm outside with my cousin. He's smoking a cigarette. So we outside. He's smoking a cigarette. We talking. All I hear is, somebody punched Al in the face, and he comes out and it's blood everywhere, gushing all from his nose. Is crazy, but it was complete pandemonium after that. When I tell you, this dude that punched Al, they did him so crazy. It turned into like a brawl outside to where you didn't even know who was who and what was going on. And I was so young, and like anxiety and adrenaline kicked in. I seen this one dude. He was going crazy. It looked like almost like a video game, like Double Dragon or whatever that game was called. It was just like boop, 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 boop. He was really getting busy. And I was like, damn, I ended up in front of him. And I'm like, wait, I think he's with us. So I'm not even trying to take the chance. I'm like, yo, I'm with you. And I'm not going front. It was a real shaky moment for me. I was young though, but it still was like, this is not my thing, man. Like, I'm not coming out to be getting into no fights, no situations or nothing. That's not cool. I came out clean. Like, I look nice tonight. I'm trying to chill. So no brawls for me. Kofi, you sucker punching people for your wife. B, B, you
It
got
would
the
take a lot
goons
for me to have
coming
this
through.
a lot.
Hey, I'm good.
I
I'm
used to have
old.
brass knuckles when I was a kid. My
I
grandmother
always
gave me.
wanted a pair of brass knuckles.
But
I'm
then
not
I
gonna
found out
lie.
they were illegal, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to get frisked and then go to jail. So, but like, I think it's a novel idea. Listen, they work for sucker punching. Let me tell you, I don't have to worry about. I wouldn't have to worry about where I'm landing as long as it's to the face. That's it.
Yeah.
Off guard. Especially if you catch them when they're turning right into the punch. Oh,
Yo, real
glorious.
talk. My mom's right would like I remember I don't know what happened, but one time I ain't want to fight this kid. Right, I ran home. Right, she was like, "Nope, that's
Yeah.
not gonna work for me."
Yeah.
She's like, "I don't care if you're scared. Pick up a brick, do what
Mm-hmm.
you got to do, but don't run home.
Mm-hmm.
Never. That's not the move right there."
Mm-hmm.
From then forward, I'm like, if I got to pick up a brick.
Yo, y'all crazy.
Y'all
Both
ever
of
play,
y'all. Brass
y'all
knuckles
ever
and
play,
bricks.
I got to
Y'all
get
heard
Final
it from them.
Fight?
Brass knuckles and bricks. That's the
Y'all remember Final Fight, the video game?
That's the
Dude that would
game.
spin, right? Pick up
That's the
garbage.
That's the game I'm thinking of. That's how that dude looked out there.
All of these accessories out here, and we didn't know. Like,
He
not
looked
my
like he was
Disneyland
like
next
one
to
of the
garbage
final
can.
bosses or something.
Like, come on, what are we talking about
Take up
here?
half the screen.
Yeah, I was like, oh Lord, this dude is a madman. Man, like, did you even come to party or was you just waiting for this moment to kick off?
Yes. This is what we practice for.
Yeah, nah, I'm cool. I'm staying home. Don't call me the next time y'all going out. Oh man, damn, it was something else that I wanted to ask y'all too, man. Oh, we deviate real quick. Just going back for a second. Do y'all believe that children learn what they live? Cause Kofi, you kind of touched on it when you was saying that. I can't remember. I said something, but you was saying that you wasn't sure if I was saying what you thought I was saying.
Oh,
like
about-
the whole thing shouldn't fall on the parents because you can't control what the kid picks up or whatever. So real quick, do y'all believe that children learn what they live?
I think yes, but I think the source varies, right? So if you mean they learn what they live from their parents, then I don't agree with that 100%. But if the general idea is they learn what they live, then absolutely, right? Because that's how you learn life, right? You learn through, as a baby, crying. Somebody comes to get you, you know that's comfort. So then you cry as a baby to get things that you want, right? So you're learning through living. But if it's the intent of they learn what they live through their parents, I don't agree with that 100% because there's some really good parents out there. And like, listen, somebody had to love Norman Bates, right? And like care for him
Maybe
and
not.
want him to be a good person, right?
Yeah.
Right.
One of the main tells of a serial killer is abuse, right? Like as a child, like it's a common factor in them becoming serial killers.
Yeah.
That's
That's
I do think you learn what you live, right? I think that's why we as parents, moved out of the hood. That's why we try to get them into better schools, around better friends, and like, because we know, like, we can't always be with them, right? So I agree with you. It's not always on the parents, but we're trying to set them up so that even when we're not there, they're living a better situation, right? Like they're not around, like the drug dealers, right? Like that's not the situation that they're being forced into, right? Like they have better opportunities.
Yeah. All right. I agree with both of y'all. I asked because I meant to ask before because it was a part of the whole school shooting thing. I remember when I was younger, my sister had this. It was like a plaque, and it said that children learn what they live. Like if you grow up with being condemned or chastised, then you learn to feel ashamed. And if you grow up with hugs and stuff like that, then you learn to feel proud. I'm not sure exactly what it said, but that was the gist of the idea that kind of what you grow up with somehow, even if you think you didn't pick it up, you picked it up. It became a part of you, whether it was good, bad, abuse, like you said, B, whatever it was, it became a part of your story, and somehow it became a part of you. And I believe that because I felt like a lot of the stuff that I grew up being around, I picked up and I see it, and I'm able to try and work on it.
Yeah, piggybacking on that, I don't remember which Malcolm Gladwell book it was. It's probably Outliers, right? But like, he was talking about how the act of talking back, right? Like how black children generally aren't like able to talk back to their parents, and like we should be seen and not heard, like rarely seen and like rarely heard, right? But white children, more often than not, are in the habit of like challenging authority, right? Like if they parents say clean your room, they're like, why do I have to clean my room, right? Like they'll talk back to their parents and like have that interaction, and we see it as disrespectful, right? But what that also empowers them to do is like ask their doctors why, right? So if the doctor's like, you need this procedure, they're like, well, why do I need that procedure? Like, what's the ramifications? Like where our children are more likely to just like nod, right? And just like listen, or like they'll talk to their boss and be like, you know, negotiate a higher salary.
Yes.
They'll negotiate on their own behalf. So like, there's a lot of things that we need to like really give a second look to and analyze within our community that we can help our, you know, next generation like see a better instance or take away the better parts of things that other cultures implement.
Yeah, that is
That makes
Outliers.
sense.
That's a good
Totally.
point, B. That was from Outliers. Good point. It's all in the communication, man. You think your kids don't deserve a certain amount of communication because they're kids. You think they don't understand certain things because they're kids, but they're living a life just like you are. It might not be the same pressures and same stresses, but it might even be more difficult for them because they don't have as much control over it as you do. They're kind of just trying to live within themselves and live within the world that we're creating for them as parents. And the goal at the end, I would think, is to just have a better place, to live in a better space for ourselves, for our kids, for them to grow up and be productive individuals, to be happy and healthy, and just have the things that we didn't have. Everybody, black, white, Asian, whatever you identify with, a better life is the goal. And all of our kids should be protected, no matter where they are, no matter who's around. Somebody needs to be looking out for our babies. It don't matter how old they get, they are the future. Whether we like it or not, we're not going to be here. They're going to be here. And I want them to be in the best place, in the best space they could possibly be in. And fellas, I think y'all want the same, man. So, you know, we just got to keep doing our part. Hopefully you out there, you doing your part. You living your life, you staying safe, and you being inspired. Whoever you are, wherever you are, no matter what you're doing, just be inspired. Choose to inspire, not destroy. You heard? Peace.
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 Yo.
I'm trying to jump the piece.
The desk. Damn, I forgot to bring up the desk. And Kofi left too soon, as always. Red question mark. But listen, I'm going to leave this in there anyway. I picked up the desk, y'all. It's a fire desk. I'm using it right now. I got all my stuff on it. I should include a picture. B, good looking, bro, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, dog.
100%. You know what time.
Yo, choose to inspire, not destroy.